What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rock Fragrances. My name is Mike. Let's get started. So today we're going to talk about one of the fragrances that I was super hyped up on and really couldn't wait to get my hands on this fragrance. I'd been very familiar with the line, but never actually got my nose on this one until not too long ago. And that fragrance is going to be Terry Mugler's Pure Havane. And this is a 2015 batch. So my understanding with these fragrances, they've been a bit butchered over time. As long as you get one that says Terry Mugler on the bottom, it may not be an original formulation, but you're going to have much better luck than the ones that now they just say Mugler on them in kind of big capital letters. So again, 2015, probably not the initial formulation, but one that's old enough and in my understanding, still certainly good enough to purchase. So yeah, just be careful about that when you're looking at any of the Terry Mugler lines. So this was obviously a flanker of the very famous Amen line. This one came out in 2011. This one gets compared a lot to its brother, the Pure Malt version, which came out a few years earlier than that. And basically what this line does is it takes the Amen DNA and toggles or up and down, one or two of the notes that were in the original formulation. And that original Amen formulation, fantastic fragrance, it has a ton of notes. So for this particular one, Pure Havane, they elevated the tobacco note. And when you think about that, Cuban cigars, tobacco, in my head when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about something very rich, very dense, very mature. And certainly because it's in the same line, it'll get compared to Pure Malt. But I do think it's competing with other fragrances like Parfums de Marly Herod. It's competing with fragrances like Naxos. And, those fragrances obviously are a lot newer. So we'll spend a little bit of time talking about, did this set the bar and it's been unmatched, or have some of those other fragrances pass this one by? But first, just the presentation. So you see this nice brown, a very similar, the rubber flask here. You've got the insert there, nice brown color on this one. So why don't we get right into it? I know there's some people out there that talk about the sprayers for these ones. I think if you give it a nice spray, you'll get plenty of juice out of this one. So what I get from this fragrance is absolutely all the right elements are there. So you do get that tobacco scent. I'd say it's a bit more of a drier tobacco. It doesn't smell very overly smoky. There's no real dampness to it. It's more of like a dry hay type, leafy, maybe cigar box, dry type of feel. And then the sweetness here, even though people talk about a cherry tobacco, it's more of a fruity tobacco. So I get a little bit of cherry, but there's some other just mishmash of fruits in there, and it's tough to pick out exactly all the notes there. But from a sweetness standpoint, the question is kind of what type of a sweetness is this? And I always think about one of my favorite fragrances here, Parfums de Marly Herod, and sort of how these depart. So for Parfums de Marly Herod, it's a very fresh tobacco, newly smoked tobacco, and sort of a syrupy cherry. I'd say for Pure Havane, it's a lot lighter experience. It's not as mature. It's not as dense. The sugar here, or the sweetness here, is a little more sugary. It's a little bit lighter. And again, the tobacco is a bit drier. So what you end up here with is a very inoffensive, I'd say, take on the cherry tobacco DNA, meaning you get that, pleasing kind of, tobacco-y, masculine, sweet type of a feel. Excuse me. But it's not done in, it's not taking any of those in a really hard line direction. So what you get is, yes, a nice, winter type fragrance, a nice date night type fragrance, but something that's inoffensive, and no one's going to smell this and say, oh man, like that's a serious tobacco type of scent. So when I think about this one in the context of the other tobaccos, like I said, Naxos or Parfums de Marly Herod, I like the sweetness that those bring to the table a little bit more, and the tobacco in those to me just feel a little bit more authentic. Now, don't get me wrong, this one is very easy to wear, very happy that it's in my collection, but over time, as this one, of course, is discontinued and you start to see prices creep up to 100, 150, 200, I just think there's going to be other fragrances that you can find, particularly in the modern day, that maybe have had the advantage of sort of improving on this DNA over time. Now, don't get me wrong, again, very nice fragrance, really like this line. I mean, it's a great line to collect. I mean, these bottles are really iconic and look really cool. And because this is only going to get more scarce and scarce, that it's nice to have it in the collection. So for me, this would be something that if you're a collector and you really need to have this, go out now and get the one that has the Terry Mugler on the bottom for sure. But in 2, 3 years, 5 years time, if this thing is $200, $300, $400, I would probably end up looking elsewhere. As far as performance and projection, this one I do have to spray quite a bit. So 5, 6 sprays on this one. Like I said, it's fruitier, a little lighter. It's not offensive from the tobacco standpoint. So I think this is one you can get away with spraying a bunch of times. Again, I don't know the true vintage, the 2011 release, maybe that was a lot stronger. I hear this isn't a bad formulation, a bad version, but it's just, to me, it's not really a powerhouse. It's not overpowering. But on the other hand, if you want to go on a date and you want this scent DNA, you like the tobacco, you want something a little bit more masculine, but you also want it to be pleasing and have a little bit of sweetness, I think this is a really good reach that the person that you're with isn't going to say, oh, that's a little bit offensive. I don't really like tobacco, or it's like overly sappy sweet. So overall, if you like sweet tobacco scents, and you like sweet tobacco scents that are wearable in a lot of different situations, this one is great to pick up. I just say, I think, as time has gone on, there's probably some other tobacco fragrances that I end up liking a little bit more. So still, for me, happy to have experienced this, happy to have a bottle of this. I'd say it's a solid 8 out of 10, very versatile, cherry sweet tobacco type fragrance. I'd say one of the, certainly one of the better ones in the Amen line, but not a superstar fragrance in my book anyways. Anyway, that's the review. If you enjoy these videos, please like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care and thank you.